Through the history of flamenco, some new palos have been incorporated to it and some others disappear and today are practically forgotten. This is the case of the jaleos, not jaleos extremeños, just jaleos. In episode 22 of the podcast Forgotten Sounds of Flamenco, you will listen to how the jaleos sounded. I will play one with my guitar and we will listen to one of the few recordings made of the jaleo, some of them non-commercial.
Sounds that once were listened. Sounds that once were enjoyed. Sounds that once were danced. Sounds relegated to oblivion. And yet, there is still something we can do for them. Let us summon them. Let us summon them.
Welcome to the podcast Forgotten Sounds of Flamenco. My name is José Miguel Hernández Jaramillo and I invite you to enroll in this journey through the sounds, stories, spaces and people that were part of the 19th century flamenco. Thank you very much for being here again in a new episode of this podcast that I am sure that you will enjoy it. Well, you probably know that currently in flamenco there is a palo or song called jaleos extremeños, which fortunately is alive. But notice that it is not to these jaleos that I am going to dedicate this episode, but to the jaleo, just jaleo, a song of which we have news until the last decades of the 19th century or early 20th century, but for some reasons unknown to me fell into disuse, and today is no longer sung, danced or played. Of this jaleo, we have received some scores from the late 19th century and unfortunately, there were very few recordings of this song. First, I would like you to listen to a jaleo of that time. From among the jaleo scores that have come down to us, I will play on the guitar a jaleo published in Seville by Enrique Bergali in the decade of the 1890s. It is called Jaleo para guitarra sola, jaleo for solo guitar. An incredible piece for flamenco guitar from before recording existed. You can see the guitar performance if you are listening to this podcast on the YouTube channel Sonidos Olvidados del Musicología Creativa. I have respected the original score 100%, interpreting it according to how the flamenco guitar is played in the first recordings. I have only corrected some minor typographic errors. As you may have heard, it is similar to the soleá, but it is not a soleá, as the author called it jaleo. Perhaps at that time the differentiating element between the soleá and the jaleo was not so much the musical accompaniment, but in the singing itself. This can be appreciated in a few samples of this cante that have come to us. I only know one commercial recording made by María la Clavellina in 1912, titled Jaleos Gitanos, Gypsy Jaleos, which you can listen on the YouTube channel Flamendro Sociedad Pizarras. If you notice, the guitarist plays some falsettas very similar to the jaleo I have played before. Maybe it is a coincidence or that there are some characteristic falsettas of this toque. Toque is how we call a guitar interpretation in flamenco. Well, at the moment we cannot get to know due to the scarcity of musical sources of the jaleo for guitar. Apart from this recording, there are two other jaleos recorded between 1904 and 1907 in Los Angeles, California by Francisco Amate, an amateur singer. These recordings were not commercial, they were made by Charles Fletcher Lamis on wax cylinders and are now preserved in the Brown Research Library in LA, California. These two jaleos by Francisco Amate are entitled Jaleo and Jaleo de Granada, Jaleo from Granada. Amate is not only singing but also playing the guitar. Let's listen to this relic, first of all the Jaleo de Granada. I warn you that the quality of the recording is not the best because, as I said, it was made on a wax cylinder and has yet to be further processed.
Granada, cantado por Don Francisco Amate el día 10 de septiembre de 1907. Ay, por Dios no me ve más, que yo contigo miré donde me quieran llevar. Por Dios llévame a la vuelta y dame unos paseitos que me voy quedando muerta. Que me voy quedando muerta. Al Calvario la llevé con su pañolito blanco, la carita le tapé. Al Calvario fui con ella con su pañolito blanco, le tapé cara bella, compañera de mi vida, le tapé su cara bella.
I imagine that you now have the same surprised face as when I heard this song for the first time in 2009. When I was living in Los Angeles, I discovered the existence of these cylinders, and they were very close to home. At that time, researchers were only allowed to listen to them on cassette recordings, so imagine that I had to listen to them in even worse quality. Amati is playing a relatively simple but very effective guitar accompaniment. It is the following. It is a quasi-hypnotic loop or riff, tremendous effective, and with a single melodic line of a few notes, he can fill a song as powerful as this jaleo sung by Amate. Let's listen to a fragment of the other jaleo he recorded, titled Jaleo. As you will see now, it is very similar to the previous one. Although these recordings are from the early 20th century, Amate is singing an older repertoire, probably from a period before the commercial appearance of the first flamenco recordings. I will explain this in detail in the next episode, which I will dedicate to the incredible story of Francisco Amate, and also discuss who he was, what he was doing in Los Angeles, and why he is an important figure for those of us who research 19th century flamenco. I won't go into much detail, but I will tell you that the jaleo is a song already known in the early 19th century before flamenco existed. The Sevillian composer Manuel García included it in his opera El Poeta Calculista, in the famous Song of the Horse. Although this song was later known as the Smuggler's Polo, it was a jaleo. And I do not say it. Garcia said it when the character who sings it in the play is trying to compose a stage play. And for it to be successful, he comments that will include a jaleo because, as it is an Andalusian song, the public will like it. I read you this fragment. That he sings the gypsy way, and stirs up the hen house. What shall I put on him? A tirana? No. Apollo? I'm trying to remember. How do you say a caña? No, it will be a jaleo. That being an Andalusian thing will like to the audience. In this jaleo, which I repeat, it is not yet part of the flamenco because at that time flamenco did not exist, you can already glimpse specific harmonic rhythmic structures very similar to those of the other jaleos we have heard in this episode, so that these sounds, now forgotten, accompanied the daily soundtracks of many people. Before we finish, I suggest you subscribe to this podcast. It is free and effortless. Click on your favorite platform, Spotify, iTunes or YouTube, and just subscribe. This way you will receive a notification when the next episode is published, where we will have Francisco Amate as the protagonist of an amazing story to make him a movie. Have a great time, and I will be waiting for you here in the next episode.